Hey guys, so before you start the video, a quick disclaimer. We shot this entire video in a fully functioning cafe, so there are a lot of background noises and we faced a lot of technical issues as well. We have tried to deal with it as best as possible, so please bear with us. This is our first time shooting an entire video like this, and please enjoy. I want you to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me your background, your education, your family, and finally, how did Coffee Nation come into existence?
Okay, so my name is Ishan. I'm the founder of Coffee Nation. Been in Pune, born, brought up in Pune. Family's from Pune as well. Did my studies in Pune. Did my bachelor's in business administration from BMCC, and then went to London for my masters. Came back, started helping the family out in their business, and I kept thinking that there's an opportunity in hospitality. That time, luckily, an opportunity came my way where I could set up a big brand from India in Pune. That was my first hospitality venture. That was a nightclub and a bar called Blue Frog. We had pan India presence, and that happened in 2012. So that was kind of my first real jump into hospitality, which itself was a scary thing because I didn't know anything about hospitality. But like you say, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. So that happened. Successfully ran Blue Frog for 6 years, and then one day I was generally just going on Law College Road, and I saw space, and I thought, okay, let's go see this space, and that turned out to be the first Coffee Nation. The reason the idea came about is I felt that Indian coffee brands that had enough opportunity to evolve, but they had not evolved. They were not catering to the younger generation. It was the same menu, the same product, the same ambience. So it felt like there is an opportunity, there is a gap in the space. So that's why the first Coffee Nation happened in 2017. The idea was very simple, to not be an aspirational premium brand, but not be a very base level massy brand either. Kind of slot ourselves in between because there was a large gap there, and the younger population was looking for spaces like that. Obviously, coffee was growing, is still growing in India, so that's why the idea for Coffee Nation came about. That's when the first outlet happened, and that was Law College Road. Yeah. So that's how we started.
That was in 2017.
2017, yes.
Nice. It's almost been 10 years, 9 years. Now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while. Yeah.
So was entrepreneurship always your plan?
I think yes. Being brought up in a business family, I think because of the culture that you see, the work culture that you see, because of the kind of conversations you have at home or at the dinner table, I think unknowingly or knowingly, subconsciously, your mind starts gravitating towards that idea itself. So, running a business or owning a business or doing something on your own, it kind of always felt natural. Uh, I did try to get some experience, but yeah, the idea was always to do something.
So what made you choose hospitality and the cafe business?
So I think hospitality came about very, like I said, by chance.
Right.
But the fact that you get to interact with such a variety of people every day,
Yeah.
you're interacting with different customers every day. There's a different set of problems every day, and also the sheer happiness that you see when somebody comes to your restaurant or somebody comes to your cafe, and they buy a coffee and you see them taking that first sip, and you actually see them getting happier, or somebody's had a bad day and they come to your restaurant, and everything kind of just settles down. I think that motivates and drives me a lot. Like, that was always an attraction, to create a space for people where they could let go of the daily mundane, come
Right.
and
So I'll
have.
share my story in
Yeah.
regards to this. I got COVID
Yeah.
at the end of the second year.
Yeah.
So I went to Solapur. I was in hospital for 5 days.
Yeah.
And I came back to Pune. The first thing I did when I came back to Pune
Yeah.
was I went to Coffee Nation FC Road and I
Yeah.
had one ice mocha.
Yeah, exactly. See,
Yeah.
so that was your core memory to come back to Coffee
Exactly.
Nation.
And I'll never forget that.
And I think over the years of us being around, we've seen so many people who are like, I just had a bad day at work, but the minute I entered the outlet, it kind of just took all my worries away.
Right.
I could relax. I was chatting with my friends. I was playing a game or whatever, right? So I think that motivation still exists. That is why we create these spaces, and that is why we want to continue, creating spaces where people can actually let go of that.
Correct.
So, and that kind of drives me and kind of gives me the reason to open outlets that are maybe slightly offbeat. I wouldn't say we're very generic in how we approach.
Not at all.
Each location has its own charm. Each
Right.
location has its own energy, each location is designed in a different way. Although we try to keep continuity in the brand,
Right.
but each location has its own different kind of pockets. So like for Law College, this sofa is very like it reminds everybody of the Friends sofa from the TV show. Thank you. Uh, so that kind of then gives that memory to people. Like you see lots of groups sitting here. So yeah, that's why you create the space.
What's something people underestimate about running a cafe?
I don't think anybody underestimates anything, but I think what you can't put a finger on is what kind of problems you will deal with every day.
Right. Correct.
India is still a very nascent service and hospitality market. I think people are still learning. I think there's great scope for improvement. And as a cafe owner, as an entrepreneur, or as anybody, I think you can never tell what problem you're going to face.
Correct.
Like it's you might envision 1, 2, 3, but what is going to happen is probably number 15 or number 20, which you will probably not even think of, or you will not know that this is going to happen. So I think that is something that all entrepreneurs in hospitality need to learn, is to be able to pivot, is to be able to be ready for things that you have not planned for. And I think that is just a consistent in the hospitality business.
Yeah,
So there are so many things that are out of your control,
Right.
right? There are restrictions that are out of your control. Like COVID was out of our control. Nobody knew how to navigate COVID. That is just something we learned. And with our partners, with our landlords, with everybody, we could navigate COVID because we had to be agile. We had to be able to change our thought process.
Right.
People who got stuck in certain thought process probably didn't survive. A lot of people did survive, but they were very good at adapting. So that is something as an entrepreneur who's looking to get into hospitality is very, very important. You have to be adaptable and you have to be agile as you can.
What were the hardest challenges when you were just starting to build Coffee Nation, and what do you think helped Coffee Nation survive and grow till now?
I think one of the most difficult challenges is obviously what we always plan to do, because we're called Coffee Nation, is to not blur the lines between people mistaking us for a restaurant.
Right.
Like you see a lot of cafes today that are serving all kinds
All
of
kinds
food, all kinds of menus. The menus 300-400 dishes, and then that kind of blurs the line between what a cafe is and a restaurant is. So when we started, the idea for me was always I don't want it to turn into that.
Right.
So getting that sweet spot where yes, you can have a meal, we do great food, we do exceptionally good coffee, but to find that balance,
Right.
that was a difficult task when we started. And as you've seen over the last 7-8 years, we've consistently added things to the menu, but we've not really gone overboard in any way.
Yeah,
We don't really increase our menu by leaps and bounds all the time. We always make sure that the additions to the menu are very thought of. They're the need of the hour, and they're limited,
Right.
so it doesn't become too expensive. So that was something that I actually found difficult to do, because everybody around me was doing different things.
Yeah.
And the reason I think Coffee Nation is created its own little space is because I think we've created an extension of people's homes. The example you gave,
Yeah.
you went back to Solapur, to your hometown, but the first thing you felt like doing when you came back is come to Coffee Nation. We have so many people who have studied in Pune, students who live in Delhi, students who live in Bangalore, students who live in Bombay, but they're like, the minute we come to Pune, the first place we have to go to is Coffee Nation.
Yeah,
And there are these certain anomalies that exist in Pune, and we're happy to be a part of that, which is like you come back to Pune, you think of Coffee Nation.
So you spoke about lockdown.
Yeah.
Many cafes and many businesses were shutting down. Coffee Nation grew during lockdown, is what
Yeah.
I saw. So how did you navigate that phase?
What was very, very key in lockdown, which a lot of people don't realize, or rather a lot of people don't think about, is if you don't have good partners. And when I say partners, I mean people who work with you, your landowners, your landlords, your staff. I think one is you have to understand that everybody is dealing with a different set of problems all the time. So be empathetic. If you have good people who are supporting you, you will get through it. There are a lot of people that survived because people helped in the rental aspect. People helped even when lockdown opened. It took a while for business to come back. So with that also, I think good partners makes a big difference. If you have good people around you, I think you can survive. And like you said, the pandemic or COVID was something that nobody knew. Nobody knew what is going to happen. Even when we opened, we had 50% occupancy for so many days. Then we were on takeaway for a few days. So I think that was something that we were navigating as we were crossing that patch every time. Every time there was something new, right? And I think the biggest shout out goes to our customers. Even when we didn't have seating, people were coming. They were like, "We don't want to sit. Just give us our coffee, we'll stand outside, have our coffee in a takeaway, wear our masks, go back.
Yeah.
So I think that loyalty is not something that you can buy.
Yeah.
That loyalty is not something that comes without creating that feeling inside of people. I think if you ask me, it's that and a bit of luck.
Yeah.
I
I
think
can
all of it
vouch.
comes together.
Coffee Nation has a very loyal customer base,
Yeah.
100%. And I was seeing stories, people are going to Coffee Nation and
Yeah.
like FOMO ho raha hai abhi.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that's something you can't replicate.
Right.
That's something you can't. That's something you don't create. There's no formula for it.
Right.
Like I can't tell you why that has happened, but it has happened.
You did something right.
Yeah, we did something right. Right place, right time. A little bit of luck, a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Good staff, good people working with you. Like I said, good partners makes a big difference.
So all of this must be very difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
So when did you ever think that this was very difficult or things might not just work out in your favor?
No,
Never.
I don't think that thought crosses my mind ever, regardless of what problems we've faced.
Right.
I think luckily, with growing up in a business family, growing up in people who are around entrepreneurs, your friends are entrepreneurs, they're running business. You see the amount of ups and downs in everybody's business journey. So you realize that it's never linear. It's never going to be just one way up. You're always going to have that ebb and flow. You're always going to have those problems. So I think it just kind of comes with the territory, and you kind of decide, this is the life I want to live, and the problems that come with this, I'm okay to navigate.
So if you had to start from zero again today,
Okay.
what's something you would do differently?
What's something I would do differently
Yeah.
with Coffee Nation specifically? Nothing.
Nothing.
I think what we've done is right.
It's perfect.
I don't say it's perfect, but it's our way of doing
Right.
things. There are many people who do it their way, and they've also got it right.
Right.
There's a ton of restaurants in Pune that are doing so well, and that have been around for so many years.
Like, can you name any?
Off the top of my head, obviously the biggest anomaly for Pune has always been Vaishali.
Yeah.
No matter who comes back to Pune, they have to go to Vaishali.
Yep.
There is Le Plaisir that has created a great kind of niche for themselves. Good Luck Cafe has lasted for so many years. So everybody's done what they thought was right for themselves. And I think, would I change anything if I restarted Coffee Nation? No. I think the loyalty and the love that we've got from people speaks to the fact that we've done something right.
Outside hospitality, is there any other business you would like to develop for yourself?
No, kind of right now I'm fully focused on growing this brand. The idea with Coffee Nation is to take it pan India. We want to become a national player, but what we're very clear about is that we don't want to at any stage go into a expansion where it's hurried.
Right.
We want to make sure all our outlets are at the right locations, all our outlets are at the right place, they're there at the right time. We don't want to go into a market that is probably nascent. We want to make sure that market is developed enough to handle a Coffee Nation. So we're self-funded, where we don't want to take on debt.
Right.
As a business, as a model, we don't want to. And the idea is to keep growing organically and to keep that growth extremely within control.
Correct.
There have been lots of stories of brands that have tried to open 10 stores and 20 stores in one go. That is a different animal altogether then, to handle that, to do that is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So we've chosen a different path. We want to open about 4-5 outlets every year. We want to travel to other cities. So I think the amount of effort and energy that requires, so I think I'm fully focused on growing Coffee Nation itself.
My first sip of coffee, I think, was when I was 15 years old. And funnily, it was at one of these other restaurants that I mentioned, when you just go with friends for a breakfast or whatever, and you have that piece of coffee. So that was actually the first time I ever had coffee. It grew on me. I don't think coffee is something that young children particularly enjoy. But I think India's growing into a coffee drinking nation. I think the next 10, 15, 20 years is going to be great for coffee. Coffee culture keeps growing. You see so many places doing manual brews and specialty brews, there are different kinds of beans, different kinds of coffees. I think that's a great sign. So there's a market for everyone. There's a market for somebody who wants a specialty coffee. There's a market for somebody who wants a filter coffee. There's a market for somebody who wants a cold coffee. So as long as that market keeps growing, it's a great thing. We do have most of them.
Involved.
I think we're a very owner-driven brand, and I think also that has kind of changed how people view Coffee Nation, how the perspective of Coffee Nation is. Because no matter what you say, the fact that we're owner-led, owner-driven right now gives a certain comfort. There might be things that go wrong. We might have a dish on the menu that didn't go so well. But the fact that we are, like I said, we are able to pivot fast. It's not a very lengthy process. Like if I know something is not working, I can change that immediately. If I know something is not getting the response that it's supposed to, we can adapt very quickly. So I think that matters a lot. And I think for that, being owner driven or being at least owner involved is very, very essential. Because if you're a very large organization, which we intend to be, but we want to still keep it very, very personal. Yeah. And that is, I think, that is a great thought, but we'll navigate the problems that come with that as we get to that stage. So yeah, that will be a learning experience.
I have wanted to know this personally for a very
Yeah.
long time. Who came up with the crowd favorite ice mocha recipe?
The ice mocha
Because
recipe
it's
was us.
very unique.
I think what we focused on from day one when we so the ice mocha was actually not the crowd favorite, by the way.
Really?
For the first couple of years, we always sold the cold coffee more than we sold the ice mocha.
Okay.
And then I don't know what has happened. If you've seen our Instagram, if you've seen our social media, it's not like we've done anything special for the ice mocha. It's always been on the menu. It was on the menu from day one, but it kind of took its own while to get into being a crowd favorite or get into being our highest sold dish. So, for example, we were just looking at the numbers last month itself. Between our cold coffees and ice mochas, we sold something like 35,000 of those,
Wow.
just in the last
1
one.
month.
Yeah, in 1 month across all our outlets.
Great.
So why it has become that, I don't know. I'm not complaining. It's great, but ice mocha took its time to become that.
Right.
So earlier it was the cold coffee, and then eventually the ice mocha came. But yes, we worked on a variety of recipes. But one thing that we were very, very clear is that we use a top quality ingredients. We do not compromise in our ingredients. There are probably 50,000 people serving cold coffee, or 50,000 people serving a chocolate coffee, or a
Yeah.
cold coffee with chocolate or whatever. But there's a reason that people keep coming back. Don't compromise on your ingredients. Don't compromise on your recipes.
You can tell that as soon as you have
Yeah, as soon as you
yeah.
take the first sip, you
Yeah.
can tell if somebody's, even if we've changed the recipe a little bit, you can tell. So we made sure for the last, since we've been open, we've never changed that.
Right.
Whatever we've said from day one, even if it took time for people to accept it, we've stuck to our guns, and people have then eventually realized that okay, this is what we want, and this is what works.
What does it really take to build, sustain, and grow a brand like Coffee Nation?
So I think to build, it takes a vision. Uh, it takes a lot of balls, because you're going out of your comfort zone.
True.
You're putting yourself out there to other people's judgment, because taste, ambience, menu is so subjective. Somebody might like one thing, somebody else is going to like the third thing.
Yeah.
So you're putting yourself out there, being open to negative feedback, being understanding that you can never have one product that is liked across the board by every single person.
Right.
There's going to be 5 people that like this, there's going to be 10 people that like this, there's probably going to be 2 people that will like something else. So opening yourself up to that is scary,
Right.
because everybody, when they start something, they start it with the idea that, you know what, I'm going to do something everybody loves.
Right. Correct.
But
That's
that doesn't
not
happen.
possible, yeah.
That's not possible. That doesn't happen. So I think that is scary.
Yeah.
So I think to build a business, it takes balls, it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a vision, and you have to be able to stick to that vision. I see a lot of people, a lot of young restaurateurs or a lot of young entrepreneurs, they start with a particular vision in mind, but if they don't get immediate success, they kind of start doing different things,
Right.
and they confuse that vision. People don't know what you stand for them.
Correct.
Like stick to what you're doing, stick to the vision that you thought was going to work, give it enough time.
Clarity is important.
Yeah, clarity is important. That why am I doing this? Why am I doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things? Out of that, 4 might work, 2 might not work. But give it time. Just because it didn't work in the first 6 months doesn't mean the next 6 months are going to be as bad. You never know. It could take one day, one experience, one dish that could turn your fortunes around.
Right.
That could turn your cafe around. That could turn your restaurant around, or whatever, right?
Is it a trial and error game then?
I think you have to adapt,
Right.
but your vision still has to stay the same.
Correct.
If you keep confusing the vision that you have for your business, then your customer is also confused. Your customer doesn't know then, because
Correct.
we think that it's not noticeable, but it is very much noticeable. When you come to a place and you realize that this place itself is it a bar? Is it a restaurant? Is it a cafe? Is it a nightclub? What is it exactly?
Correct.
If it's a mix of everything, your customer can tell,
Right.
and then he picks and chooses for what experience he wants to go where, right? But if you're a pure cafe and your customer knows it, then he knows, okay, if I have to go to a cafe, I have to come to this place. If I have to go to a restaurant, I have to go to this place. So stick to your visions is what I always feel, and that has worked for me. So I would say that has always been great for me.
So what mistakes did you make as a first time cafe owner or entrepreneur?
I think I made all my mistakes before, because I did Blue
starting
Frog
Coffee
before.
Nation.
Yeah, before
Right.
Coffee Nation, I think I had 6-7 years of experience in hospitality. So every single mistake that you could think of, I've done. There is not a
Name
single
one of the
mistake.
biggest mistakes you ever made.
Uh, Thinking that investing a certain amount of money in creating the infrastructure of the place. Like, for example, if I like a particular thing, going above and beyond to make sure that that thing is there in my cafe, in my restaurant, in my bar, or whatever, not realizing that that is really not the value addition.
Correct. Okay.
A good looking table is a good looking table, but beyond the point, if your service is bad
Right.
or if your product is bad, nobody is going to come to you because you have a good looking table
Correct.
or because you have good looking lights. So that was a learning experience, because obviously when you do your first venture, you want to make sure everything is the best.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
so, but understanding that in hospitality, what matters the most is uh, the service, how you make a person feel, and how good your product is.
Yeah.
If you can crack these three things, you see people standing on a roadside stall and eating and loving the food.
Yeah.
I myself do that.
Yeah.
There are times when I want to eat something, I know exactly where to go. That person is not worried about how good his cart looks or how the area around him is. You're going there just for the taste.
Yeah. That's what.
So that matters a lot. So understanding that. Uh, so in my early years of hospitality, I made every possible mistake. uh, Hiring overpriced staff, having people. A big issue was overstocking, not realizing how much stock you need. Like these things, I think you only learn from experience.
Correct.
There is no
It can't be
school or
taught.
there is no
Yeah.
this thing to teach you all of this. So luckily, before Coffee Nation, I had made a lot of mistakes to realize what mistakes not to make when I started Coffee
Right.
Nation. So, like I said, it's been almost 14 years in hospitality now. So it's been a journey. It's been with Coffee Nation. I've made fewer mistakes, is what I'll say. Yeah.
So how important is location, product, and marketing, and the brand?
I think 50% of your battle is location. I think 30% of your battle is product, because even if your product is your hero, it's subjective.
Correct.
There is going to eventually be someone who comes up with a better product or a different product or a cheaper product that people will gravitate
Always.
towards.
Yeah.
So I think 50% of the battle in a city like Pune is location, because Pune is very, very close knit as a community, is what I feel. Uh, Pune doesn't have that culture of traveling for 45 minutes to go to a restaurant or a cafe, right? It's a smaller city compared to maybe one of the larger metros. So Pune, I think location matters a lot. Uh, and I think service and ambience and feel make up for the rest.
Yeah, I asked about location specifically because all of your outlets are on like a main roads and very busy streets comparatively.
I think Kalyani Nagar, FC Road, and Law College are on slightly busier streets. I think Aund is generally a quieter area, but we wanted to go to a slightly more residential area.
Yeah.
And then Viman Nagar is a little inside. It's really not on the main
Yeah.
street, but I think that has been an evolution of that particular area. Maybe some places people want to sit in a quieter place,
Makes sense.
but on FC Road you can't be in a quiet place.
No,
At the end of the day,
that's
that's
not
FC Road.
possible. Yeah.
So that is more of for branding, for people to get their eyes on you. It's like a main artery, right? Everybody crosses FC Road at some point. So the fact that your brand is present on that road makes a big difference. So I think
Branding and location go hand in hand.
absolutely. I think the more eyes you get on your brand,
Right.
the more there is that need for people to at least try it out once.
Right.
If I see a board 10 times, I'm going to feel like going there at least once. And then if I like the product, I'm going to go there again and again and again.
Right.
So that is important. But not all locations can be that. You don't have 10 FC roads in Pune. You only have one FC
One
road.
FC road.
So that way you have to pick and choose. So that's why I said location is 50% of the battle, and then the rest just follows.
So what matters more to you? Like a good coffee or a good customer experience?
I think a great customer experience comes first. Uh, Food is human centric. There is no automation in food.
Okay.
And this is something that I always, every time at the outlets, it's not that our staff doesn't go wrong. They're human beings at the end of the day. They make a mistake.
That's all right.
But that customer experience of how you deal with that mistake. Are you empathetic? Do you understand why that customer has a problem? What his problem is and how you deal with it? That is what makes uh, the difference between him coming back and not coming back. right? uh, Sometimes it's a manual process. Making coffee, making food is a manual process, so you can go wrong. These kids are young, they're also learning, they're working. uh, they can make a mistake, but how you deal with that is what matters, I think.
Do you want to talk about the recent incident?
Yeah, so I think absolutely we can talk about the recent incident. Again, like I said, it comes down to purely human error, right?
Yeah.
uh, was it a fault? 100%. But it's human error. Now how we dealt with that and how we deal with the customer is what matters. Now that will decide whether that customer comes back to us and understands that it is purely a genuine mistake. So I think more so than, you can have, I wouldn't say bad coffee, but you can have, the taste can vary sometimes,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Definitely. Yes.
it it,
Very
it is going
important.
to happen, there's no way to avoid
to
it.
happen.
But how you deal with that customer, understand why he's saying that, be empathetic towards what he's saying,
Yes.
and make the changes. I think that is what
It's a
matters.
personal game changer for me also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. It matters so much. Like, I'm sure you've been to Coffee Nation probably 150 times
More
till
than
now,
that.
even more than that. So I'm sure sometimes your coffee was not what you expected.
Right.
But if you've told the staff and they've understood what you've said and they've changed it and given to you, that's the reason you come
Immediately
back.
offer to replace it.
Exactly, and that's why you come back, right? So I think that matters more than purely just product.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can see animal photos here.
Yeah.
So you guys promote dog adoption and animal.
So we're always pet friendly.
Yeah.
All our outlets are pet friendly. I think we try to do our best for the community what we can. Even with the spaces that we create, we make sure our space is available for any upcoming artists. We make sure it's available for any startup businesses. We make sure that our place is available for anybody who wants to use the space to do something with their life, to make, if they're running a business, if they want to do adoption, they want to get a dog, whatever it is, right? We've created a space for everybody.
Right.
How you utilize it is up to that customer completely. We have no restrictions on how we want people to utilize our space. The space exists for people to utilize it, and that is how we want to be. uh, Dogs obviously are a very personal thing to me. I've grown up with them, I've always had them.
I was gonna ask you, tell us about
Yeah, so
dog
I've
also.
always grown up with dogs. Our entire family has a lot of dogs. We've always been dog lovers, animal lovers. So yeah, that was just a natural for me. Like,
Right.
to create a space for them was, it was not even a thought process. It always was going to happen.
Coffee Nation was also the first place I brought my dog.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Since
was
he was a
also
puppy,
fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're one of the first people to
Yes,
get your dog.
yes.
Yes, absolutely, and you still do.
I still do, yes.
Yeah. So
Bring
yeah,
him walking and
Yeah.
everything. So I have worked with you for like a few months now.
yeah,
So what I have observed particularly is you're very particular about consistency.
yeah.
What makes consistency so important? Because I've seen that the atmosphere is pretty consistent, the
Yeah.
taste is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So why is it important to you?
I think without that you can't. I think coffee becomes a habit.
Right.
So the reason people frequent a place, why do so many of our older generation go to only one particular place?
Vaishali.
Whether it's Vaishali, whether it's Good Luck, whether there's so many, right?
Yeah, correct.
Why do they go to that one particular place? Why does Wahuman? Why do people still go there? It is not because their product is better than everything else in the world. It's because it's a habit.
Right.
And to create habit, you need consistency. The minute you have that, I think people will keep coming back and back and back and back and all the time. I think that makes a difference. So yes, consistency is key. That kind of creates people, gives people a. One of our dogs has come inside. One of the new puppies that we've adopted. She keeps coming for the air conditioning. Yeah.
You're pet friendly, I told you. I think what a couple of things that people really need to understand is, for premium location, especially if you're renting, overpaying on rent becomes a very difficult margin to fill, because rental only keeps going up. It's never going to go down. Every year it increases. So people come into a property with a certain expectation. Controlling your shopping levels, controlling your staff. These are certain fixed costs that are completely in your control. There are certain costs that are not in your control. If product prices go up, that is not something you can control. If the market is volatile, that is not in your control. But there are certain things that you can control, especially when you start hospitality. And these are the first key initial steps. Also, what people need to understand is that when you're opening a cafe or a restaurant, you know exactly the number of seats That is something that people take for very granted in terms of design, right? They first work on the design and then they realize, oh, am I 80-seater or am I 150-seater or am I 120-seater? What exactly am I? So these revenue generating factors that exist, your revenue generated from the number of seats you have. Exactly. So plan backward calculate and plan from that. People focus so much on design that they don't realize practicality design also needs to be there. If your design is impractical, that only creates a more difficult service experience that creates less revenue and all of that. So these are certain things, especially in the time that I have done. Like I said, my first venture was something that I went less brain or heart because it was my first venture. So but then you realize the impracticality of design, the impracticality of the tables you design, the seats you design, the chairs you design. All of that changes the customer experience. All of that changes whether a person can sit in your place for 5 hours or they want to leave in half an hour. So that is what people who are getting into this line for the first time need to start working towards. Don't just make a pretty place, make a place that people want to sit in. Like I said, right, if my experience is bad, I'm not going to go back because the place is bad. I'm going to go back because I actually like a particular server. I liked a particular dish. I like the music. I like anything, any interaction that I've had with people. Like we've had people who actually met at Coffee Nation, one got married. They met at Coffee Nation. They met each other at Coffee Nation. They've gone ahead 2 years later and got married. But there are people who come here, studied and passed their exams. There are people who've met friends who are now friends for a couple of years. These experiences only come when you're comfortable at it. If I'm uncomfortable where I'm sitting, I'm not going to be open enough to have that experience. So that matters. I think there are two opposite sides of a coin. I think, like I said, coffee culture is good. That's great. People are willing to try anything. But I think one other thing that is not so good in the market today is, which Coffee Nation doesn't do, but which still exists in the market, is that there are people that are serving everything. So then that customer expectation, when they come to a place that is probably not a restaurant, they want, like, I get customers who ask me, we need to serve rice bowl, we need to serve pizza, but I'm like, logistically and for the brand that we stand for, we don't want it. But saying that to a customer, the customer is coming in with an expectation, saying, no, but that place is doing it, so why am I doing it? So I think there are two sides to the coin. The cafe culture is evolving, but in a negative way, I think it is crossing lines and boundaries into being restaurants and other things also. Then that becomes very difficult for us to navigate. Yeah, come back to what my vision is, what Coffee Nation's vision is, and how we want to stick it. So,
Do you think
oh, definitely. I mean, they're far more experimental than probably, I'm not too familiar with them, but probably the older customers. Yeah, millennials, whatever. I assume we're very set in our ways. We don't want to experiment too much. But I think the younger customer is keen to experiment. Like keen to try different recipes. So like recently we launched matcha, which was again a very Gen Z request for us. We never had matcha on the menu. But after obviously talking to people that work with us who are younger and so many customers, Alia sitting right here, good friends there. They told us that there is a market. So, like I said, we adapted. I just say, this is all I do and this is all I will do. So I think Gen Z is a great customer base because they're willing to try new things. I think also one massive difference between older people and the younger generation is they actually like working out of cafes. Yeah, exactly. I've seen you do your assignments or work, and there are so many people even right now sitting around us that actually prefer working from cafes. Whereas older people want a slightly quieter space. They want something different. Yeah. So I think that is great actually. That's good for cafe culture, that's good for us.
So is there a trend which is overrated or is something that's here to stay?
What is the name? That is overrated.
Do you think matcha?
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to answer that. Like I said, I do experiments, but I'm not going to answer that. Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will. Coffee is here to stay. Coffee is not going.
Coffee is here to stay.
Coffee is here to stay. Coffee is here to stay. But not going.
So coming to your question, so what is life like for you?
Pretty routine based. I guess I'm a very routine based discipline kind of person. I need to play tennis a couple of times a week.
Do you play to the
Trying. I'm learning. So I play tennis a couple of times a week and gym. Home is close. So yeah, outside of Coffee Nation, I don't know. Right now, like we're in that phase where we actually want to set up the administrative side, the back end of Coffee Nation, we want to make it strong enough so that we can expand to other cities soon. I think we're definitely looking at opening at least an outlet outside of the city this year. So, we're kind of working on that a lot. So now it's less operations and more, and we have enough capable people in operations now. Our team is growing, we've had some senior people. The team that exists also is experienced. So I'm taking a step back from operations and trying to figure out a way where we can expand faster. So that is taking up a lot of time. I think I'm one of the lucky kind of owners who has had a great team. We've had people that have been with us for 8 years now already. Our attrition since Coffee Republic, yes, our attrition ratio has been a lot lower than normal. We have a lot of the good bit is also I think we get a lot of local and outside staff. So we get a good mix of people, and we've had people that have been with us. I think just last year we did a small little kind of incentive and thing for people that have been with us for more than 5 years. We have almost more than 20-30 people that have been with us for more than 5 years. In hospitality, it's kind of unheard of because the attrition is so high. We make sure that we obviously try to do as much as we can because I think it's wrong to say that Coffee Nation works because of one particular thing, but if the staff is not there to do the work, nothing works. They work extremely hard, 10 hours a day. It's a hard physical job. It is long hours. It is not something you sit behind a desk and there are no set parameters. Today you're doing this, tomorrow you will be doing this. I have staff who, when there is no housekeeper, cleans the outlook. I have staff when there is a housekeeper, does other things. So it's a very, very tough job. And without the staff, you can't really. If you don't have staff that works hard, looks at you like family, and looks at your outlook like it's theirs, and you try to create that sense of self within them, they have to feel like they're a part of it. They have to feel like Coffee Nation is a part of it. They have to feel like, okay, I have to go here. These are young people who are working, they're also studying side by side. There are people who do 3 different jobs. Somebody's throwing papers in the morning, somebody's doing something else in the night. So with that kind of hard work, people don't see that. It is so difficult for them to hear. You make sure that you give them that vision. That we had people who joined us as housekeepers who are today managers. When they started as housekeepers, but they saw that growth, they saw that there is potential, and that is the reason they stayed. I think creating that is very important. That culture that we will internally grow, we will internally give you the opportunity to keep doing better. I think that culture matters. That's the reason people stay. My go-to place? The telescope. Nowhere. And like I said, coffee. No, I said coffee is a habit. So now this has become a habit. So now I can have coffee anywhere. Before coffee, I got a big coffee. My first coffee was 2014.
Your own coffee chain.
Yeah, my own coffee chain, my own habit. That is little bit right.
How do you switch off from work? This is it's not like a 9 to 5 job.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody that runs a business can run a 9 to 5. Like I said, routine, discipline, make sure that whatever 2 hours of the day that you get first, make sure you're doing something other than work, where your phone is not in your hands. You're not answering calls or whatever. I'm not saying everybody should do that, but that works for me. Going that 2 hours of tennis or that 1 hour of gym, 3 days or just kind of that's my reset for the day. Love to travel. We travel a lot with my wife. We try to travel as much as we can whenever we get an opportunity. But I think more than certain large breaks from work, I think that 1.5 hour every day of the break to reset your mind to do something for yourself. Whether it's working out, whether it's running, tennis or whatever, right? That's purely for myself. That is not for anybody else. That is what keeps it sane. And then you're waking up the next day happy. And I think that is something that everybody should do. Even if it's half which has nothing to do with your work. And especially because we don't get to switch off. The outlet shut at 12:30 and 1 in the night. The staff is there till almost 2 o'clock. By the time they go home, They can be problems at 12:30 in the night also. It's not like my problems are only that my phone is on till 2 in the night. My staff can always call me if there's a problem. So we don't get to switch off because we want to that switching off doesn't happen. So you have to carve that time out for yourself.
How do you deal with challenging side business and
Well, I think I think I said it in the start, don't be so set in your ways that you're absolutely non-adaptable. I think we can face any challenge if we can look at it from different perspectives. If you only look at it from a victim mindset, that's very difficult. I think it's impossible for people to deal with a problem when they look at, well, why is this happening? Or is it happening to me? There are people with problems that are there are people with problems that are far more severe, far more serious. So I think there are different perspectives to a problem. Learn to listen to people. If you think you're the smartest person in the you're in the wrong way. I always believe that. There are so many restaurants that have come before me that I regularly talk to. I take advice from. I take advice from people that have gone wrong. Whose restaurants have said, what did you do wrong? Why do you think it went wrong? So many things. So yeah, I think talk to people, rely on people. I think people nowadays don't understand the value of having the right people. I think that so if you have a sounding board, if you have those 4 5 friends people around you, so important. I've been blessed with a good set of friends. We're very, very close. We talk to each other a lot. Obviously, and that makes sense. Yeah, I think that is very, very important. Perspective, different perspectives to every problem. Because I might think this is the solution. Somebody else might tell you, what, this might be a solution. For all you know, that might work. But if you're closed off to the ideas, go for it. Yeah.
was there ever a phase in your life where you were considering what to do?
Of course, when I came back from my studies, I didn't know what I wanted. I joined the family business. Thought that is what I wanted to do. But along the line, hospitality kind of became my idea. And then I learned that it's a great job. With all these problems, it's a great line of work to be in because, again, like I said, you get to meet people, you get to meet new people, you get to meet different people, you get to see people happy, people sad, all of this. You get to see the full spectrum of human emotion. And that's very difficult in maybe other life.
What advice would you give yourself who are in your field?
Try everything and be willing to take risk. I think risk appetite is so important. And I understand risk appetite comes from a place of comfort. If you have comfort, you can take risk. But especially to kids and entrepreneurs who are in that position, there are certain people who don't have an option what to do with it. Unfortunately, however they look. But if you have the comfort to be able to take risk, I feel dive headfirst into it. You never know. I think if you to put it in very simple terms, if you're comfortable in your daily life, try to do something. Try to take that risk. You never know what to do. Maybe 2 of your first restaurants will not do it. The third one will, the fourth one will. Maybe a business that you want to start. The first 6 months it might not do that. But that 7th month, you never know what's in your head or what to do. So if you don't put yourself in a position to find that out, you never know. I don't think opportunity comes to people who sit at home. I don't think opportunity comes to you beyond. I think you have to put yourself in a position to create opportunity and to be in a position to receive that opportunity. I always believe that. There are so many people said, oh, this did happen, but I'm like, did you put yourself in a position for it to happen to you? Am I slouching again? I'm trying not to slouch because I have
You can keep adjusting.
One eternity later.
You guys can also ask a question because you feel like
Yeah, you want to ask?
12 seconds later.
that's good.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So my next question anyways was going to be, are you natural risk taker or do you prefer calculated decisions?
I think I'm a natural risk taker. And I think my appetite for risk is very high.
What's the biggest risk you have taken?
Getting into hospitality.
Really?
Yeah. I was 22 when I decided to do it. So without knowing anything, without having learned hospitality, Absolutely trial and error. Absolute make the mistake, learn. Obviously, you try to navigate,
Right.
but like I said, every day is a new problem. You have no clue what the problem is going to be. And I think seeing my because being from a business family, seeing my father's appetite for it, seeing like I said, what um what develops your personality is what you grow up in, right?
100%.
I've grown up around friends who have been from business families. My family is a business family. So if you see that on a daily basis, you see that your dad has no linear working hours. You see when he's at home also he's on the phone. There is something going wrong, or
24/7.
he's irritated, agitated, whatever, right? Like you see all of this, you realize that it becomes kind of okay. This is what life is.
Correct.
If I had a dad or a family who worked from 9 to 5, came home at 5, shut his laptop, and did that, maybe that's all. That's what I would think life is. So I think that kind of develops your personality, and I think seeing our family do that and seeing the people around me do that, I think naturally my risk appetite has always been very high.
Right.
Yes.
That's an amazing watch, by the way.
Thank you.
So
Thank
tell me
you.
about your tattoos also. You have amazing tattoos.
My tattoos. So yeah.
Do they have
So
any meaning or?
yeah, they do. So this is my sun sign, which is Leo. That's
Yeah.
my favorite poem. It's a Maya Angelou poem called "Still I Rise." Kind of again, like I said,
Yeah.
you have to keep adapting, keep trying, don't give up. All of that, right? I don't want to sound preachy, but these are just certain things you kind of imbibe in yourself. You keep going,
Right.
no matter what happens. So, and you know the kind of the road has not been great. The road has always been bumpy on a personal front. Which, since I know you well enough, you know that. But yeah, you kind of keep going, and then the rest of it is just a verse of the poem in Maori. So
Right.
yeah, this is an old tattoo, almost 10 years old now.
So you have a
Correct.
complete sleeve now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's yet to happen, but we'll do it eventually when I get time.
Soon. Right?
Yeah. So
So what's next for Coffee Nation? Where do you see Coffee Nation in the next 5-10 years?
I think our goal is to be at about. We want to get to that sweet spot about 50 outlets
So you have
in the next 5 years.
right now, right?
We have six, seven,
Seven.
six. Sorry, six.
You forgot the
No, six.
count already.
Six because seventh we are just signing. But yeah, six right now, and the goal is to get to that magic number of 50. Yeah, and then we'll see. You cross that bridge when you get to it.
So
But
next is which city probably for you?
I think Bombay logically and logistically makes the most amount of sense.
Right.
Close to Pune. But what we're very, very keen on is tier 2 and tier 3 cities. There's a lot of opportunity. Smaller cities where people have the disposable income, but they don't have as many options. I think that's a great untapped market. So that is definitely on the cards. But for our first outlet, we'll do something that is logistically sensible. We don't want to have one outlet which is completely out of a natural geography for us.
Right. Yeah.
Because then that becomes very difficult to look after, very difficult to maintain quality. We don't want a franchise as of now. We're not looking at it because I think right now, like you said, we're very keen on consistency and customer experience. So I think no matter how hard you try, that kind of gets diluted. So we want to avoid that for now. But yeah, right now, logistically, I think the city that makes the most amount of sense is probably Vashi, Navi Mumbai, Thane, Bombay, one of those. We want to do one outside of the city this year for sure.
So I have a rapid fire round for you.
Oh no.
And then the last question.
Okay.
Right? Matcha or coffee?
Coffee.
Fame or anonymity?
Anonymity.
Yeah. One irrational fear.
Old age.
One thing people misunderstand about you.
That I'm arrogant.
I don't believe that.
People who know me don't believe that, but people who don't know me think I am.
One quality you judge people for.
Time sense.
That's a
Yeah.
pet peeve also.
Yeah.
Comfort or ambition?
Comfort. Tough.
So on a scale of 1
Ambitious comfort.
ambitious comfort.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing you'll never compromise on.
Work-wise, personal life.
Both?
Personal life, I think discipline. Work-wise, consistency.
One thing your staff probably predicts before you say.
Why is the table not clean? They know that's the first
You
thing.
guys can also answer
Yeah,
this.
that's the first thing I always tell them the minute I walk in. And for the other guys, why aren't you giving me an update? Yeah,
Favorite Coffee Nation item?
the cold brew iced coffee.
Same.
Yeah.
One Coffee Nation item you think deserves more hype?
Ooh, our desserts, man, they're fabulous.
Dessert, absolutely.
Yeah, so they're done by the Sweetery. That's my
Yeah, tell us
partner.
about the Sweetery.
Yeah, so she's a commercial baker. She does all the desserts and all the sweet stuff at Coffee Nation. And I think that's something that doesn't get enough push.
Right.
for whatever reason. But yeah, I think our desserts are fabulous. I think it's one of the few things that we do that I don't think anybody can replicate.
So my favorite combination is a cappuccino and a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, exactly. So
Brilliant.
like
It's
a
amazing.
fabulous cinnamon roll, but yeah, I think that deserves more attention on the.
Definitely.
Definitely, people need to try those more.
One thing Pune cafe culture lacks.
One thing Pune cafe culture lacks: good service. Lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
Lot across the board, including us. Again, like I said, including us, there's services. There's something that consistently you can improve. Like you go, you travel outside and you really realize how great service can be sometimes. And I think there's so much more room for improvement on that front.
A skill every entrepreneur should have.
Adaptability.
Comfort food.
Batattachi bhaji, poli,
Amazing.
amti, dal,
And yatta amras.
hatta amras. Yes.
Small thing that makes you disproportionately happy.
Small thing that makes me disproportionately happy. Seeing my dogs when I go home. Yeah.
100%. One thing your friend would say is so you. This is so Ishan.
Oh God, you'll have to ask my friends.
But what do you think they would say?
I have no clue. All my friends call me Agao, so I don't know what they'd say. Yeah,
What's more difficult, opening a cafe or keeping it consistent?
keeping it consistent.
So last question, one word your team would use to describe you.
You have to ask the team.
One word for him. How would you describe him? Client.
Yeah, her boss, and then you have to actually ask Devendra. You have to ask the team that I can't. tell.
Where is Devendra sir?
He's outside on the phone.
Ah.
He's working. See,
What about you, Alia?
one word
for
you would
him.
use to describe
him
me.
as a boss.
See,
Muska?
I hope not.
Okay, so the last question
Yeah.
for the day. What's one philosophy or belief that has really guided you in your own life and for Coffee Nation?
Be a good person regardless of what the other person is doing. You cannot control anybody else's actions. You can be the nicest to somebody and they don't need to be nice back. Expecting people to give you the same energy that you're giving them, I think, is a failed concept. I think people are going to do what they want to do. They're going to do how they want to do it, and they're not going to think about you when they're doing it. So consistently be a good person, be a nice person. Yeah, I think that's the only thing you can control. Like I said, always work on what you can control. Don't work on things that you can't control. So yeah, that's something that I feel I genuinely live by, and I try to do my best at it. Yeah, that's about it.
So thank you for your time.
Thank
and
you.
also we
Thank
have
you.
something for you. This is my friend's brand
Lovely.
called Essence. They
Okay.
make these amazing perfumes.
Nice.
So he's giving you specifically director's cut.
I have
for
the
some
director's
reason.
cut perfume
Yeah.
of
Good.
Essence.
Yes.
Tanish, thank you. Vaishnavi, thank you so much. That was fun. That was my first actual video that I've done.
This is my first actual video.
Good. I hope we didn't do too bad.